Hello again, squaddies. Welcome back once again to Ramsgate and the Fearless Slayer's Guide series. As always, I am Dave, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the weapons that's probably gotten the biggest changes, but not to its mechanics, in Dauntless. Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at the hammer today. Now, first thing, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to be using my Pengar hammer for this rather than a Shrike hammer like I have for the other weapons I've shown you. That's simply because I don't know if I even have... let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure I actually even have a Shrike hammer. Real quick. Oh, I do, but it's only level 1. Whereas my Pengar hammer is level 8, so it gives me a chance to just get through the fights quickly. But anyway. Now, the reason I say the hammer's probably changed the most out of the weapons is not because, again, its mechanics, although with the one of the specials you can get, it does have a big change to it, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it's more that it's changed its role. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. First off, you go back in here. Now, the specials you start with, the specialty that you start with in this for the hammer is Concussive Salvo, which I have equipped. It's the old hammer cannon shots that you could get, but you can now load more. You can actually increase the amount of ammo that you load into the hammer. So before it was you'd hit Q or your trigger button on the console to use your special, and it would just fire off a shot, depending on how you used it. Now with Concussive Shot, you can hold it and load several shots, and you'll actually get better range. It's still not going to hit any. It's still not a sniper rifle, but it will do some damage, and it can indeed stagger. The other special you can get, because the hammer actually has, counting the one you can get from Lady Luck, there are 4 specials for the hammer. One of which I can't show you, at least not with this, because it belongs to this, the Molten Edict. It's an exotic only. That's all you get. And I'll show that to you once I've gone over the other 2. So, like I said, we have Concussive Shot. Hold the load ammo into the hammer. Released Unleash Blast. Deals up to 360 damage based on ammo loaded. And can interrupt behemoths. And the range increases the more ammo you load into it. So the more ammo you load in, the more damage and the farther it goes. The other one is where the big change happened. Mighty Landbreaker. Hold the load ammo into the hammer, so it still uses the ammo. Release to create an Aether Vent that busts players who step over it, granting them up to 35% damage based on ammo quality. Now, you still really only have the couple of qualities of the hammer ammo. But this, instead of being a damage, this is a buff. The hammer is changed into something more of a support weapon. I'll show you guys the Mighty Landbreaker once we start going into the split screen. And actually, I'm not going to do the exotic in here. I'll talk about it. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and bust out the Molten Edict. Converts all explosive uses of ammo into fireball attacks that deal damage based on ammo quality. Basically, if you think of the Charog, the rolling fireball that the Charog does, the Molten Edict does something pretty similar. I'm not going to do exotics in the weapon guide videos themselves. I'm going to give them their own video that I'll do later on. So we'll cover exotics later on, because I've got a couple of them. Now the mods for the hammer are where it gets fun. Weighted Crown is good. It's the one you start with, or it's the one you first get when you hit Mastery Rank 6 with the hammer. Weighted Crown legs has stagger damage no longer halved when attacking behemoth legs. The hammer is all about the stagger still. It's the best weapon for staggering behemoths, and basically, if you hit the behemoth somewhere, it's going to take stagger damage. Now, with Weighted Crown, it means that you can do stagger damage at 100% all over the body. I don't have any other specials because I'm still only... I don't even know if I'm rank 9 with the hammer, but the other 2 specials, or the other 2 mods, sorry, the one you get at rank 10 is called Impulse Crown. Aerial Strike, which is the one where you fire off 2 shots to launch yourself, that you can then turn into an attack, gives you... if you hit with that, or actually, I don't know if it's even have to hit, but if you use Aerial Strike, it will increase your damage for 10 seconds. You get a double bonus if you hit the behemoth in the head. So you'll get a good bonus. Like if you'd normally get plus 5% damage, if you just did aerial strike, you'd get 10% damage if you hit the behemoth in the face or the head somewhere. And then finally, extended clip is the rank 16 mastery. It's probably what sounds like one of the most useful ones because it increases your ammo count to 6. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hammers. Oop, that's the wrong one. There it is. So yeah, you still have hammer strikes, where it's just basic swings. You also have concussive salvo, which is just you fire off a shot. You can actually load it in. I'm sorry, it's on right click instead of Q. One of the fun ones, though, is the Aether Slam. Or the Aether Charge Salvo. Then the Aether Slam, which is basically at any point during a swing before you hit, or at the end of the, I'm sorry, it's the end of the combo. You can hit your secondary attack to launch this good explosive wave forward. And like it says, fully reloads with Aether Charged ammo if you hit a behemoth directly with this. You also have Prime Strikes, which I showed off a lot during the original video, where if you, like I said, immune for damage of any strike, if you hit to load a shell, so if you hit to, like if in my case if I right click, it will actually do extra damage and extra bonus regular damage and stagger damage. And then we also have Q for reload, and this is just like Gears of War, where you can actually, if you hit in the green, it'll, like I said, shortens reload time. So it's active reload, and you can also reload inline by hitting Q, in my case, when you hit. Then we also have the horizontal hammers, which is the standard. You kind of spin. It's actually got a decent hit combo, and then you can, of course, finish it off with the explosive finale. You can finish off all your combos with them. Now, the hammer does have quite a few moves. Don't expect me to use all of them, because I don't use the hammer often enough. You can also... You can do the hammer jump. Aerial strike can only come after the first jump, whereas you can also double jump. And, of course, you also have Evasive Blast. But I'll see you guys in just a second. The one I'll be commenting on will be Concussive Salvo. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you in just a moment once I've found my Nasher. Alright, there it is. Let's get this started. Now you see me using the charge salvo. I'll go ahead and do that. Now you see me hitting with the explosive finale. And you can actually chain these together, so you can basically constantly have... You can basically constantly be Aether Charged ammo. As long as you do one thing. Direct hit the thing. And don't do what I just did, which is use all of your ammo. I'm surprised that hit me, but I was gonna use all of your ammo on a blast. One thing about this, about that, the direct hit is the hammerhead, not any of the blasts. So the blasts can actually all miss. Although frankly, if you hit with the hammerhead, you're gonna hit with the blasts, because honest here. The hammerhead is where the blasts come from. Now, one thing I'd like to show off. Let's do this. I've got two. You'll see I have 2 shots left. I was gonna go for 1, but there we go. Now I've got 1. Darn it. Go and reload. You can actually have different qualities of ammo, indeed. So, what I was going to show you, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'll just go ahead and do it this way. Two, 3. The number of shells you have left in your hammer when you trigger the finale is how many explosions you're going to get. So you do more damage if you have all 4 loaded, and of course your damage is going to go down a little bit as you have less shots. There it is. Now I haven't shown Inline Reload. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. I need to actually use a shell for that. You don't actually have to hit with it, of course, because as I just showed, but I wanted to show that off real quick. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a minute for the wrap-up once I'm done killing this little bastard. Well, squaddies, there you saw me using Concussive Salvo and Mighty Landbreaker. You might have noticed something that I didn't talk about before we went into the split screen hunt, is that the Mighty Landbreaker actually has a secondary benefit that's not... I don't think it's listed here. Let's see. Yeah, it isn't. One thing you might have noticed if you were paying attention is that the Mighty Landbreaker actually gives you a very short-term bonus to movement speed as well. 1 second. So going over the vent actually also gives you an extra 25% bonus to your movement speed for a few seconds. But the attack damage goes for quite some time, actually. Because, I mean, I killed the Gnasher in 1 arena with using Landbreaker as opposed to Concussive Salvo, which it took me 2. Now, like I said, the hammer's kind of swapped out to being more of a little bit more of a support weapon, with the use of things like Mighty Landbreaker and the Lady Luck special is called Iron Heart Landbreaker, which instead of giving you attack damage and movement speed, gives you damage reduction and healing over time. When Aether Charge? I'm not entirely certain that people can go on Aether Charge, but whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We got one more weapon to really look over before we go into the exotics, and I've got a couple to talk about in that video, but if you enjoyed this, feel free to drop a like on the video. You can also leave a comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say, and if you want to keep up with me and never send my current series, then consider joining the squadron by subscribing to the channel. It does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. As for that, squaddies, I have been D. This has been a look at the new changes to the hammer, and I actually, now that I've gotten more hands-on with it, kind of like it. Until next time, good night, and good gaming.